going on, people? Welcome to United View. Welcome to another massive game. How many times are we going to say that this season? Big up to you if you're already feeling a little bit down about everything. I understand your feeling, but you know, the games keep coming and the importance of the game still remain. Man United versus Tottenham, 5:30 kickoff under the lights at OT, in another big game, to be honest. And look, emotionally, yes, I've said it at times, we all kind of say it, and some of you may have said it or still stand by it. You kind of emotionally check out. It's like we've been on such a roller coaster of emotions with this team and with the results, game by game. It just changes. But this is a massive week for Man United, man. If we can win today and beat Atletico, obviously not everything's all right, because in the same breath we know what's also capable of happening, but results lift the mood, innit? But we've been left wanting far too many times, so I get it. In terms of expecting to do well in them two games, you just know better than to do that. You've got to safeguard your own emotions by not expecting too much, and I'm with you on that, and that's how I feel about today, although it is a big game. Team news, as I'm recording this, it's touch and go whether David De Gea starts or not. There was reports that he was going to miss the game through testing positive for COVID. Now there's reports that he's supplied or provided a false positive test, and Dean Henderson will not be recalled into the goal, into starting goal. I don't know. Obviously, you know, David De Gea has been the number one. It would make sense for him to continue, but if there's a lot of chopping and changing, it's you know, one thing. Look, it's not a conspiracy. It's just something that can happen with COVID, but it is kind of like, although they couldn't avoid it, it's typical, isn't it? Like, we can't just have non-chaos, you know? We can't just have non-chaos. And that's what seems to keep happening a lot of the time. It's like there's always something, but you know, that is an unavoidable thing. If he's provided a test and it came back positive, and then he done another test and then it came back negative, they got to work out which one it is. But does that interrupt the team? Is it better to just say, do you know what, David, well, we just don't know, Dean Henderson, you start? Me personally, I think you just start with the number one. Let's find out if it is positive or if it is negative. If it comes back that it's negative, he should play, in my opinion. Especially this short before the game. He was always gonna play. So it's only just come up with this test stuff now, it looks like. So if David De Gea is negative and they find that out, then he should play, in my opinion. But if Dean Henderson has to play, you get behind him. He hasn't played in a while, but he's still a good keeper. He can come in and do what he has to do. And he'll have to play on Tuesday if David De Gea is positive as well. So what's that 5-day isolation I think you got to do now? So we shall see. We shall see about that. Ronaldo is back. Ronaldo is back and probably will start the game. We need a striker, obviously. Cavani's back. I don't know what shape he's in. I don't know how long he can give us. I don't know how long he can last. I don't know. But Ralph was obviously talking about how pleased he is to have them two back. And it's a big game for Ronaldo. We need him. We need something. But this game is one, yeah. If I talk about the game now, had to build up to it on the channel last few days. We have to win. We have to win. I'll be deadly honest with you. I haven't even really been looking at the numbers too tough in terms of the league table, because I've just been so pissed off of it. I just after all these crap draws and loss against City, I just haven't even been looking. I just know that we're not in fourth anymore, and Arsenal obviously are above us with 3 games in hand. But Spurs have played less games than us as well, and we're a couple of points ahead of them, I believe. So, you know, if they beat us, that's catastrophic with the games in hand as well. I think we're 2 games in hand ahead of Spurs. I'm not sure. I think I could be wrong on that, but I think we are. We have to beat them. We've got to start getting some daylight. They've got tough games as well, and we can't allow them to come in and beat us. We've seen, it depends. This game is the battle. You saw trying to do the combined 11 yesterday with Fuad, or the day before, sorry, on Thursday. It stunk the place out. It's just a horrible combined 11 with 2 teams who are really underwhelming, with 2 teams who are so inconsistent, with 2 teams who you literally never know what you're going to get. And this is why it's so difficult to predict this game. Spurs, if it's the stubborn Spurs, the organised Spurs, the counter-attacking in numbers Spurs that turned up against Manchester City, then we got a hell of a game. We got a hell of a game on our hands, with Harry Kane being brought into play early, getting the ball into him as quickly as possible, getting runners off him and Kulusevski and Son. We could be, you know, and their fullbacks trying to bomb on with what Conte would want. Then that could be a difficult, really difficult game. If it's the Spurs that rocked up against Burnley, against Southampton, against Wolves, you know, against Middlesbrough, then we can easily dispatch of Spurs, you know, because I believe they are a really, really poor side. But for everything I'm saying about Spurs, equally it can be attributed to us on our day. And I think the only thing different with us and Spurs is that we do have the better squad, player for player, 100%. But we're not playing like it. We're not playing in that moment. And that's why this game is very, very hard to call. You know, if I think of the likes of Harry Maguire and Masaka and Dallo or McTominay and Fred get over and run in midfield, or Maguire not concentrating properly and lets Kane bring it down, give him half a yard, you can foresee the best and the worst of this game. But what I can also foresee is if they have Emerson Royale at right wing back, or Doherty, which it probably will be, you know, Doherty goes back to playing as shit as he has been, apart from the other day against who did they beat easily? I can't remember last game. Everton. You know, last couple of games he's done alright, but by and large he's not very good. Sancho can rip him a new one on his day. Alanga can tear Sesson on a new one on his day. You know, why not? Because Spurs aren't very good. You know, in midfield I think they're bang average, but again, like I said, so are we. So it's the battle of who turns up best on the day. I've got a draw in my head. I do have a draw in my head. I got a draw feeling because, one, it's just typical Man United right now. We draw a lot of games. And two, although we're better than them on paper and we can laugh at Spurs and say they're this and they're that, we're actually very similar to them in terms of consistency and not being able to rely on performing at our best. We're not similar to them in terms of some of the quality of players we have. Some, because actually in other areas we can argue that we're bang average in certain areas as well. Look at the fullbacks that we've got and look at the fullbacks that they've got. It's not much in it. Do you know what I mean? The midfield, we always, you know, complain about, you know, McTominay and Fred and whoever plays in there, Matic, whoever it is. You know, they got Winks, Bentancur, Højbjerg, you know, and what's his name, Skip. Just, I mean, it's much of a muchness. But obviously we've got the likes of Bruno Pogba. So look, we are a better team than them, of course, and we should be dispatching of them. But I just can't put my hand on my heart and say that will happen. Sancho, obviously, is the shining light right now. He's the one who is doing what he needs to be doing. He's growing in confidence. I saw the interview he done midweek, and he's talking about that confidence. So it's very important that he's involved in the game and playing to his best level. Very interesting to see what Ralph Rangnick had to say about Marcus Rashford. I love it. I think it's refreshing. You know, you want to get behind our boys and you want all our boys to do well, but Ralph's basically saying it. Like he said, Ralph's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time. So he's basically saying if Marcus and his team want to think about moving in the summer, then they can in the summer. But right now the window's closed. So, you know, you got to just get back to playing. Gary Neville had some interesting things to say in a tweet that he put out about Rashford. Does Rashford start today? Not for me. Still been playing poorly. I'd go over Langer on the right, Sancho on the left, and Ronaldo up front. But, you know, you look at how we played against Spurs last time. I think we went with two up front. We have Ronaldo and Cavani. It really worked against there. I think we matched them up formation-wise. We went with the back five as well, because he's conceding so many goals at the time under Oli. I can't see Ralph doing that. We haven't played really a back five under him at all, really. I can't imagine him going to it to match up Spurs. I'd be very surprised. But Ralph is a tactician. But he didn't even go to a back five against City. We went with a back four and a 4-4-2. So we shall see. It'd be interesting to see how Ralph attacks this game and how he sets us up tactically and formation-wise. But we just got to be out here. We do. I think one thing with Spurs is if you stop the supply into Kane, I know it's easier said than done, but if you handle Kane and take him out of the game, you pretty much stop Spurs. That stops the link through for Son, it stops the link for Kulusevski, it stops third man runners coming from midfield. Everything goes through Harry Kane. But again, I suppose everybody knows this. City knew this, and they couldn't stop it as well. And he was unplayable. So yeah, Harry Kane's that good that, you know, and he's up against Harry Maguire and Lindelof, and I think Lindelof's having a good season. Having said that, he might not be up against Lindelof and Maguire. Maybe Varane will start, but I don't know if Ralph will risk him. Been out with COVID, only just got back into training midweek. Got Atletico on Tuesday. I don't know if Varane starts. I don't know if he starts, and if he does start, will he play both games? I really do hope he does. You know, Varane's my guy. You don't know how I feel about Raphael, and that's why we bought him, to play in all the biggest games. But we do have to manage him. But it wasn't an injury, I suppose. It was COVID, so we'll see. What's that? Hate when you see closures, you think, oh, traffic's coming. But nevertheless, a massive game, and we have to keep tabs on Harry Kane. Conte, we know what to expect from his teams. You know, Tottenham can be aggressive. they can also be very stubborn and sit back and camp out and ask questions of Man United and then spring on us in transition, which is our Achilles heel. So I don't know. Let me know what your predictions are. I've got a bad feeling of a draw, and if we don't win this game, I know we said it pretty much after every devastating draw and loss this season, top 4 gone. But it really would be curtains. I mean, if ever you needed the final nail in the coffin, I think it would be a loss at home to Spurs. That would it would be done. In my opinion, Arsenal beat Leicester comfortably tomorrow. But we've got to do our own jobs and just try and keep pace with Arsenal until they play their more difficult games. And, you know, this is one of them, you know, against a genuine top 4 rival. So we have to win. I don't want a draw. It's not good enough. A loss is catastrophic. A draw is not good enough. We must win this game. Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comments section below. Smash a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. Keep Owen company on the match view. He will be taking care of that. And KG, little bit of a role reversal today. KG will be doing the full-time view straight after the game as well. So keep them both company, keep them sane, and tune into those two. And then we'll be with you guys straight after those programs with the fan views as well at the ground.